Alright, so in keeping up with our Rebirth coverage, today we have an in-depth look at Red XIII's gameplay, from his unique ability to his limit breaks and synergy attacks. It all sounds really exciting, so if any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button and smash that sub button with a Stardust Ray to keep up with Final Fantasy news and my channel. So getting to this breakdown of Red's gameplay, it comes to us directly from Square Enix's website. In it, they describe Red's combat style as aggressively defensive. That's because your main goal as Red is to build up his unique ability, Vengeance Mode, by guarding against attacks. The more you guard, the more his Vengeance gauge builds up. Once Vengeance Mode has been activated, Red will receive a boost in his speed and attack power. He can even siphon enemy HP while in this mode. Vengeance Mode ends when his gauge is depleted. However, you don't need a full gauge to activate the ability. I really like this playstyle already. Playing smart and building up your gauge with defense allows you to go full ham on an enemy once you've activated Vengeance Mode. It's a great balance of defense and offense, and reminds me of playing a fighting game. Play smart, look for the opening, and then blow your opponent up. Getting to his abilities, we have Sidewinder, where Red leaps into the air to deliver an attack from above. Sentinel Stance, this ability guards against attacks and greatly increases the Vengeance gauge. You can even deliver a counterattack when in this mode. It kind of reminds me of Cloud's Punisher stance, where he could guard against attacks and also deliver a powerful counterattack. Stardust Ray moves from being a limit break from the original Final Fantasy VII to a standard ability now. This is an AoE attack that costs 2 ATB charges, but it is said to be very powerful. Crescent Claw. This sees Red unleash a flurry of strikes on the enemy. If Vengeance Mode is activated and the gauge depletes during this attack, then Crescent Claw will get a buff in speed and damage. Moving on to his limit breaks, they include Bloodfang, which makes a return from the original game, sees Red charge towards an enemy, bathing them in blood, which sounds super hardcore. And it also siphons enemy HP and MP. And then of course, the legendary Howling Moon also makes a return. This time, the ability extends the amount of time Red can use his Vengeance Mode. Last but not least are the synergy abilities. Now, they do put an interesting bit of info here that has me very curious on how these abilities will become available. The blog goes on to say, the abilities you'll have available in the game will depend on the bonds between the characters. Now, I know they said these synergy abilities will be unlockable via the character skill trees, but I'm wondering if it's a situation where if you don't have enough bonds built up with a character, you can't unlock that ability, or maybe it doesn't even show up. So hopefully we get a little bit more clarification on that. Starting off first with Red XIII and Aerith, they have Planetary Roar. This sees Aerith channel her magic through Red's Howl, unleashing a ranged AoE attack that also raises the party's limit levels. Red XIII and Cloud get Savage Assault, which sees both unleash a flurry of attacks on the enemy. Again, this will also raise your party limit levels. And finally, they go into detail with Red XIII and Barret getting Overfang, which sees Barret launch Red XIII, Colossus and Wolverine fastball special style towards the enemy. Again, this will also raise your party limit levels. All in all, Red sounds like an intriguing character to play. Having to be patient and balance your defense to eventually destroy the enemy with his offense sounds like a lot of fun. The Vengeance Mode also sounds like it could make him a very powerful character. I genuinely love how unique all of the characters are so far. Cloud is the aggressive damage dealer, Tifa is the speedy attacker, Barret is the ranged tank, Aerith is the ranged magic support, and Yuffie kind of has a mix of everyone. She's fast, can tackle flying enemies, and even has her elemental ninjutsu to handle various enemy types. Adding Red into the mix will make combat feel even more strategic and frenetic. Plus, there's still Cait Sith, and how his playstyle has yet to be discovered. So, combat is shaping up to be something absolutely extraordinary and potentially incredibly deep. Now with that being said, that's the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think so far about Red XIII's gameplay style, from his unique Vengeance Mode ability to his synergy attacks to his limit breaks. It really sounds like playing as Red is going to require a lot of focus, but in a good way. Before you go, make sure to check out my most recent video where we discussed that interview from The Guardian, where they sat down with Nomura, Katase, and Tamaguchi. It's a very fascinating read, kind of delving into the history of Final Fantasy VII and how people like Nomura got involved and how they've been able to take some of the game's older developers and mix them with new developers to create what we're getting in Rebirth. And also, they do sprinkle in some Advent Children talk towards the end, which has me very intrigued, but I'll leave a link to that as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember remember to always be excellent to one another.